Every vehicle has a purpose. Whether it's going 200 miles an hour, whether you're hauling your kids to school, whether you're just out for an evening cruise, maybe you lay the top down. But when you live in a northern state and there is snow and ice on the roads for several months out of the year, you have to have some confidence-inspiring vehicle. Now hear me out.
Okay.
The most important thing on any vehicle in the winter are winter tires.
Yes.
I forgot my props for this demonstration, but I was gonna bring a pair of flip-flops, a pair of running shoes, and a pair of winter boots.
Which ones would have done the best? That is actually a good question.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you click subscribe, make sure you comment, make sure you click like, do a little awkward pyramid scheme and high five. Come along with us today. We're gonna explain to you what we feel you need to look for in an all-around banger
Winter vehicle.
Bam! Undeniably, the most important thing about selecting a winter vehicle is having a good set of shoes.
That doesn't sound like a specific thing about a winter vehicle, though, because any car can get winter tires.
Which makes any vehicle able to drive in the winter if you put the proper tires on. I always roll with Bridgestone Blizzaks. This is not a paid product placement. It could be.
Bridgestone, reach out.
But you use what?
Nokian Hakkapeliitta R3.
Again, not a paid partnership, but reach out. Tires, the most important aspect of a winter vehicle. Let's go back in the warmth and explain a few more things. So aside from the tires, which are massively important,
Something else matters.
the other thing that you want to look at is what are you using your car for and what are you trying to do? Most of us are just trying to stay out of the ditch.
Yes.
To do that the most successfully, being that we both have driven all of the types of drives,
Yep.
you got all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, or rear-wheel drive. I always prefer an all-wheel drive for deep winter driving.
I prefer an all-wheel drive with the rear wheel bias
Yes.
because I like to be able to get the tail out a little bit.
So just in our stable, we have this Cayenne all-wheel drive. I don't know the split difference,
But it's a rear bias.
Yeah, it's a rear bias. This is the greatest car. It's like driving in the summer and the winter. I'm not even joking. Next best thing is probably our four-wheel drive Jeep.
You don't want to say my Cayman?
Your Cayman's fun in the winter under the right hands, okay? So the four-wheel drive Jeep is good. It is not as good as this all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive is probably for a normal driver.
It's going to be fine. It's going to slide in the winter, and the way you compensate for it is you just continue driving and hope that you don't go in the ditch.
We're experienced drivers. I mean, we're pretty much professionals. Because to an extent, we do get paid to drive.
Oh, yeah.
High five. Rear-wheel drive, mid-engine is the Turn 5 preference.
Yes.
Not for the faint of heart.
It gets a little hairy in times, but it is great if you know what you're doing.
As you've noticed by some of our spin classes, it is our tool of choice.
And we don't know if we know what we're doing or if we're just lucky.
Either way, it's fun and we haven't died yet.
True. What are you doing with that stick?
It's my measuring stick.
Oh, what are you measuring?
The ground clearance. So ground clearance is a huge deal. The Cayenne has 6.5 inches of clearance. Your Cayman,
It has 4.5 inches.
so it's vitally important that if you're going to be going through deep snow, that you have the ground clearance to cover it. Do you want to hit them up with the last aspect that really makes a good winter vehicle?
Traction control is what that last aspect is.
Every car has traction control, Tyler.
Oh, They do?
They do. I think what you're meaning is not all traction control is created equal.
Yeah, it's not all for the same purpose.
No, so for instance, out of this car, our Wrangler, and the GMC, the GMC's traction control is the worst of the bunch.
Yep. It just cuts power at terrible times. It stops you from spinning, yes, but not in the way that it should.
It really acts like a front-wheel drive car understeers into corners.
Yes.
Where this lets you oversteer to a very small angle. It actually makes you look like a hero.
Yes.
But the traction control is so amazing and confidence-inspiring. It is my favorite traction control ever. The Jeep is okay. I mean, it's gonna get you where you need to go. It doesn't do anything spectacular. I would imagine, since you can drive your Cayman all year round, Porsche's traction control in general,
it's pretty
you got
good.
those German engineers in the lab coats, and they're in their little laboratory, and they're like playing with little Hot Wheels cars, and they're like
That's how they develop.
Yeah, and they're tweaking the software, like, hey, I don't know a German name, but look what I just did. Oh, well, look at this. I can make it drift at 30 degrees and still be super, like, cool looking. I think that's what happens.
I think that's exactly how it happens, too.
I watched a Porsche How It's Made documentary once. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I saw.
So what you're saying is Porsche's traction control is the best traction control you have experienced so far.
That I've experienced, that is correct.
And otherwise, other traction controls have caused you to not spin out, but they haven't helped you stay on the road either.
Absolutely. Well, I think instead of us babbling on with our super scientific explanation of what you need to look for in a winter vehicle, that this actually helped one or two people.
Yep.
And made 5 or 6 other people laugh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming along. Make sure you do the awkward high five. Next week, what do we got for next week?
We are going to be reviewing
Don't tell them what we're reviewing, but just...
you better take the lead, because otherwise I'm going to spill the beans.
We are reviewing, wait for it, a car. If it's any indication, we're heading down to the Porsche dealership. So it'll be a good one, I guarantee you. Make sure you subscribe. It's better than subscribing, because that way you never miss an episode of ours.